You started in 2004,
Yep.
which was about 4 years before everything went to shit.
Yep.
And when that happened, what did you do?
Panicked like everybody else. Kept my head down though. So I was part of a team at Quicken at the time where we had to, they called it the war room, and we had to go in and try to take all these non-saleable loans, all these option arms and interest only and stated income, and ultimately we were trying to create new loans that were insurable and that the stock market, well, mortgage-backed securities that they could pack up and actually sell.
Right.
So that was kind of a unique thing because you're calling clients that just refinanced and you're trying to get them to go into a different mortgage. And I mean, it was tough, but HARP came in 2009 and it started out 105%, total combined loan to value. So we were able to start refinancing people that were underwater, and those guidelines continued to loosen up, and all of a sudden it was a new wave of business.
Okay.
Explain HARP.
Yeah.
Home Affordable Refinance Program.
Right.
So loans that were ultimately insured and owned by Fannie and Freddie, you were able to refinance those mortgages for those borrowers because rates had dropped significantly, but so had home values. So a lot of people that at one point in time had a significant amount of equity in their homes no longer had equity.
Right.
And it started out light. They owned the paper anyways, so I think they finally brightened up to the fact that, hey, we need to figure out a way to keep homeowners in their homes. And we were ultimately, by the time HARP was said and done with, there was no equity restrictions. So you could refinance if they were 200% backwards. And then we just made a crushing in that market, quite frankly, and that's how we survived 2008, went to 2009. 2009 was a really good year, 2010, 2011, and I would say probably somewhere between 12 and 13 is really when the purchase market came back.
Right.
And I left Quicken in December of 2009. I went to, at the time it was National City. Within a week of me starting, it was acquired by PNC Bank.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a mess. And I had a year there where I was like, if this is mortgages, I don't think this is what I want to do. I mean, it was terrible. Right. It's my first experience leaving a place that was very organized, a lot of tech, very, very structured, to a place where they just handed me a laptop and said, all right, good luck. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, structure is important. So you brought up a good point. So that time period between like 2008 and everybody was panicking, right? But he said something that in 2009 was a great year because a lot of people don't understand there's a lot of opportunity in a down market like that. There's always one or two niches you can find and make good money in.
And his was refis. So
Yes, sir.
refinances. So it wasn't a good year for everybody. It was a good year for people that was, it wasn't necessarily a good year for everybody in real estate.
But
he was in a certain niche.
In 09?
Yeah.
It's always a good market for somebody.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You just got to, as a professional, you got to find
Pivot.
out where your niche is. Exactly. Yep. So those refinances, so someone, their balance is $200,000. Their home is probably worth $140 at that time. You were still able to refinance them, and maybe they were getting a lower rate or doing a loan mod so that they can afford to keep their home, basically.
Precisely.
Okay.
Yep. I didn't have anything to do with loan mods. There was a lot of financial institutions made those available, but we did an actual transaction, and rates had gotten down at that point in time. I want to say probably low fours.
Yep.
Right.
And, people that were in the sixes, I mean, I lived through 6.875, 7.25 on a 30-year fix for a small amount of time there. So people were able to convert from 30s to 15s and have a comparable payment, save them hundreds of dollars on their current payment. I mean, we really kind of put a plug in the disaster by allowing people to stay in their homes and reducing the monthly payments.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, because, I mean, at that point in time, it was like, well, heck, like, my next door neighbor just lost his house, but before he lost his house, he bought the other neighbor's house half off.
Right. Yeah.
So it was like, what was the motivation, to do that? People were literally buying new homes to let their existing home go. You get a slap on the wrist. If you're smart, most people filed for bankruptcy, absolved themselves from the debt. Obviously, there's a financial time period that you have to go through, it's a little tough to get approved for anything. But if you already got the new house,
your car and everything, you're getting
Get
credit
everything
cards.
first.
yeah, you got the
You showed
neighbor's
a neighbor
bigger house for
then,
half the
also half
payment
the
you were
price.
floating up to it. So
Right.